The reality is, if you're going to succeed in the real estate business as a high producing real estate salesperson, you're going to make the money you want to make. There are 9 skills you have to master. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through all 9 skills in great detail. So make sure you take notes. If you have any questions, use the comment section. Ask me anything that you need help with, and then I'll make sure I respond to you within 24 hours. So skill number 1 is by far mindset. What is your mindset? Do you have a winning mindset? Do you have a strong mindset? Or do you have a negative mindset? Do you have negative self-talk? Every time you pick up the phone to prospect, are you expecting people to say no and reject you? Or do you have a winning mindset that says, I'm going to set a listing appointment every single day, come hell or high water? What is your mindset, and how do you strengthen that mindset? Number 2, lead generation. If you don't know by now, you're actually in the lead generation business. Your state just gave you a license to sell homes. Believe it or not, I think most people get into this industry thinking they are going to be the practitioner. I'm going to be the expert real estate agent. Well, without clients, you can't be the expert real estate agent. And so I think a lot of people really get this screwed up, because when they get into the industry, they don't think about, okay, how am I going to get clients? All they think about is after they've obtained a client. Well, your job in this business is to generate leads, to generate new business, to generate appointments, because everything else is a byproduct on your ability to do just that. So if you're going to win in this business at a high level, you've got to master the ability to generate leads on a consistent basis. Number 3, I wrote, lead follow-up. Now, I make the argument all the time that actually lead generation right now in 2021 is no longer the big issue. The big issue for most agents, especially the ones that I see out there, generating leads is pretty simple. Converting those leads and following up with those leads is where I see most agents struggling. They have no systems, they have no process, they don't know what to do, they don't know what to say to follow up with leads. Because here's the truth. For the most part, 80% of your sales and your appointments are going to come through your ability to follow up with leads. Very rarely will you talk to a prospect one time and on that first interaction, they sign a listing contract. On that first interaction, they decide to write an offer on a house. It's very rare. You're going to have to follow up with your leads in a way that keeps you top of mind. So when that day comes, when they're ready to sign a listing contract or when they're ready to write an offer on a house, you're the obvious choice. You've won the business through lead follow-up. Write this down on your notes. Allow lead follow-up to be part of your interview process. So as you're generating a lead, as you're going on appointments and you're following up, this is the only time the prospect can experience what it would be like working with you when the day comes where they actually need to hire an agent. Think about that. Number 4, the 4th skill you're going to have to master is your sales skills. Now, I understand most of you don't come from a direct selling background, but make no mistake about it. You are in the direct sales business. If you don't believe me, pause this video, grab your real estate license, and read what it says on the license. It's going to say real estate sales person. You are in the selling business. Therefore, you have to work on your sales skills, regardless of how you're generating your business, whether you're doing open houses, you're buying leads from the internet, you're prospecting, you're working by referral. You're going to need to learn what to say in order to get a client to sign a contract. It doesn't matter if it's your best friend. If you go to the listing appointment and you don't know what to say and you don't know how to communicate your value, your friend and their spouse are going to look at each other and say, hey, we love you, but we're going to just interview a couple more people just to make sure. That's their way of telling you you don't have any sales skills. So make no mistake about it. If you're going to win in this business, you're going to have to master your ability to sell. Now, a lot of you have a big problem with that because you don't know how to sell. You haven't learned how to sell, and what you think selling is and what selling actually is two different things. We're not talking about, tactics from the 80s and 90s using high pressure selling tactics. We're talking about how to serve the consumer by asking questions that I teach a lot of the agents in my coaching program called reverse selling. This is how you serve the consumer, where you position yourself as the obvious choice. The fifth skill you're going to need to master is how to price property. You see, most of us, we want to go into a listing appointment or go work with a buyer without having mastered the market, without having knowing about the inventory, without knowing how many new homes are hitting the market, how many new homes are being sold every single month. What is the list to sold price ratio? What are the average days on market? What's the absorption rate? How much months worth of inventory do we have this month compared to this time last month? You don't know any of those things most of the time. And if you do, a lot of agents don't know how to explain that in a way that makes sense to the buyer or seller, again, positioning yourself as an expert. If you're going to go and work with buyers and sellers, you have to know how to price property. In order to price property, you've got to master the market. You have to understand the market stats. You have to understand how to read comparables. You have to understand how to do a CMA. These are all things you're going to have to master in order to win big in the real estate business. Next, I wrote, number 6, you have to master your listing presentation. Now, it's one thing to work with buyers. If you've been following me for any length of time, you know I'm not huge on working with buyers, especially in this market today. But if you get a listing, it's virtually a guaranteed paycheck. And so in order to get a seller to sign a listing contract and agree to pay you a 5, 6, 7, 8% commission, you're going to have to provide some value. You're going to have to position that meeting, that presentation in a way that convinces the seller that not only you know what you're doing, but that gives them confidence that you're the right agent, that gives that seller confidence that you can get their property sold, that gives that seller confidence that you can get them a premium for the property, that by hiring you, they're in good hands. Well, in order to do that, you have to have a listing presentation. You need to know what to say. You need to know what to show the seller. You need to know how to present the information. So you're going to have to master your listing presentation. Number 7, you're going to need to master how to service your clients. So if you've done everything right up into this point and you actually generate a client and the client says, yeah, we'd work with you, sure. You're going to have a process and a system that allows you to service that client in a way where when you get to the end, it wasn't a hot mess. You get to the end and they say, wow, we're actually happy with the decision that we made hiring you. And if you don't have systems in your business, you don't know how to update your clients, you don't know how to navigate the contract to close process, you don't know how to read title, you don't know how to order title, you don't know how to do any of those things, make sure that you spend some time building a client experience that by the time you get to a closing table, the client looks back and says, wow, you're a real pro, you're a real expert. We absolutely feel confident and comfortable referring you to our friends and family in the future, which is what you want, of course. Number 8 on the list, negotiating contracts. So how do you know and this is another skill that I think a lot of agents just bypass or simply just don't know what to do. I mean, how do you know if you're representing a buyer which type of offer to write to get the offer accepted? Or if you're on the listing side, how do you negotiate an offer on the seller's behalf so that you don't leave any money on the table, that you negotiate the strongest terms possible? Well, you need to learn how to negotiate contracts. You need to understand the marketplace and what's normal and what's not. Furthermore, you're going to have to really understand, okay, what is our leverage in this negotiation in a way to say, okay, I know I can press a little bit over here. Maybe here we can kind of let them get away with some of those things, but right here, I know I can hold firm because I'm an expert negotiator. And then number 9, I wrote, building and maintaining your database. You see, if you're going to have long-term success, it's one thing for a new real estate to get into a market like we're in right now that's super hot. You stick a sign in the front yard, you get 10 offers. Okay, I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot of skill to do that. Little cousin Johnny's getting his license over the weekend and doing that, no problem. But if you're going to build a sustainable, long-term career, which I think is something most of you are after, you're going to need to learn how to not only build, but how to maintain relationships in your client database in a way that produces repeat and referral business. Because you don't want, trust me when I tell you, you do not want to be the agent that's in the business for 20 years still chasing buyer internet leads on the weekend. You don't want to keep banging your head against the wall chasing for sale by owners and expired listings. You don't want to be paying Zillow $10,000 a month to get leads. You want to build a database that produces repeat and referral business. Well, in order to do that, the 9th skill you must master is, do I have a system and a communication plan that allows me to build and maintain the relationships with people in my database long term? So if any of this in today's video made sense to you and you want help executing on any of these 9 skills, I'd invite you to schedule a one-on-one coaching consultation. Learn how coaching with us, learning my reverse selling system allows you to go out there and build a multiple 6 or even 7-figure business, being primarily a listing agent. Go ahead and click the link beneath this video. Feel free to jump on a free one-on-one coaching consultation, learn how our program works, and then you can decide if working with us now makes any sense or not. Either way, no big deal. So hopefully today's video provided you some value. If it did, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. It helps to support the channel, and I'll plan on seeing you in the next video very soon. Thank you guys so much for watching and all your support.